Hello and welcome to Comms Business Live. I'm Charlotte, editor of Comms Business, and today I'm joined by RingCentral and Darwin Technology to talk about the transformation to cloud communications. Joining me today, we have Matt Lambert, Territory Partner Manager at RingCentral, Bobby Howe, Team Leader for UK Mid-Market Sales, also at RingCentral, and Al Stevens, Founder of Darwin Technology. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. And today we'll be discussing why many organisations are deciding that now is the perfect time to migrate to a cloud-based unified communications platform. With the PSTN and ISDN switch-offs looming, it's become a necessity for many businesses to move their traditional PBX systems over to a new solution. And with this in mind, RingCentral and their trusted partner, Darwin Technology, are here today to explain the impact their unified comms and contact centre platform has had on their customers' businesses since they made the switch. So let's start with Matt. What are the benefits of RingCentral's unified communication and contact centre solution?
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you very much. I think it's really integral to start with kind of what our mission and which is simply to simplify communications for businesses. But in order to actually understand the benefits and the true benefits of RingCentral and how we actually help and support our customers, we need to obviously first look at the challenges they're actually facing. And in the main, customers are coming to us looking to solve three main challenges primarily. And first of all, that sits with how do I actually deal with the kind of macroeconomic challenges of today, so I now being post-pandemic and striving for cost savings and maximizing with what we have essentially. Second of all, how do I accelerate how do I accelerate transformation? And third of all, how do I actually strengthen as a business? At the beginning of that kind of journey, so to speak, customers are first kind of taking a step back and actually asking themselves, how do I manage the multiple technologies I've adopted over the years? How do I deal with the kind of rationalization of three and a bit years ago of some of the decisions that were made kind of three and a bit years ago since COVID and made in that kind of crisis situation? How do I manage the reality of a hybrid workforce? How do I streamline internal workflows? And again, how do I deal with what I have currently? And obviously many more. But the reality is customers need to somehow actually understand, they need to manage all of that and at the same time achieve bottom line cost savings, more so than ever. And then as customers kind of look to progress through that journey, so to speak, businesses are also trying to understand, how do I not only just solve all of those problems that I just mentioned and challenges that I just mentioned, but how do I accelerate at the same time? How do I grow my top line revenue? How do I outperform my competition? And ultimately, how do I genuinely go and accelerate and strengthen my position within the market? And that's all about differentiation, growing in employee satisfaction, retaining the best talent to actually accelerate my business, growing my spend with customers, and more importantly, retaining that customer. So why have I just kind of told you all that? I think, and it's really key to understand the challenges and where we then fit in. And the answer is really, really simple. I'll be honest with you. Because our platform's truly global, it's highly secure. It's an enterprise grade solution. Our customers are in the best possible position with RingCentral to go and achieve all of their business outcomes and goals and solve all of those challenges that I just mentioned. And again, our message is really simple. We simplify communications for businesses all around the world. And just to kind of give you a bit of a flavor of how we do this, through the click of a button, customers are able to scale their estate up or down, depending on their kind of plans. They're able to integrate into hundreds of kind of everyday applications such as Salesforce, Google, Microsoft, etc. We operate in 45 plus countries around the world with localized numbers in 110 plus. Again, truly global in that regard. We even allow our customers to be contacted on the mode in the mode that they actually wish to use. And further to that, furthermore, we're developing our platform and partner programs respectively to to match our partner and customer requirements. And that's only just kind of scratching the surface. But in summary, whether it's messaging, video, phone, contact center, RingCentral isn't just improving a customer's ability to actually communicate effectively. We're actually providing them with the pathway to solve all of their outcomes and challenges. And for me, it's all down to the product and the platform itself, and that is the true differentiator, and why we remain a leader in the space.
Definitely. For you, Al, I was just wondering kind of your thoughts on what attracted Darwin Technology to become a RingCentral partner, because I imagine that you encountered all of those challenges and are still encountering all of those challenges that Matt just ran through, and obviously the capabilities that RingCentral could bring to you and your business and your customers must have been part of your decision making there.
Yeah, I mean, from Darwin's perspective, when we first set out, we were really well looked after by these guys. So they obviously, they've got the experience in knowing the channel, how to understand a business like mine. They take time to do that, and they've taken the time to do that. Matt and Bobby have both taken the time to understand where we are as an organisation, which has been pretty key in our decision making. But I think for me, and this is genuinely taking the platform and the integrations and the systems to one side, the area that I've been most impressed by within RingCentral, I'm not just saying this because Matt and Bobby are on the call, but it's the people. You know, the platform, great, integrations great, SLA's great, but actually the real value for somebody, for a lot of our customers, when they're looking to make that move from ISDN or from another cloud provider that they might have rushed in 3 years ago into something different, or into something new, are the people behind it, and the confidence that a UCaaS expert, a CCaaS expert, SEs that have been there, seen it, done it at all kind of different scales, project managers, delivery engineers that are experts in their field, that I think is where these guys really shine on top of the systems and the platform itself, in terms of experience, safe pair of hands, and giving that confidence to a customer that they've been there and done it, and irrespective of the question, there's an answer for it. That's really what's impressed me in the first 18 months of working with these guys.
That makes sense. And both of your companies, so Darwin Technology and RingCentral together, are proud of joint customer successes. Is there kind of any recent win cases that you can talk through there from Darwin Technology's side? Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting for us. So Darwin run independent processes. So we operate a marketplace of 250 vendors, from unified communications and contact center all the way through to connectivity and security. And in the majority of our UC and CCaaS projects, RingCentral are usually in the final two, if not the final three, subject to the size of the opportunity. And we've won a couple along the way as well. And I think the most recent one was a law firm up in the Northwest. Really happy customer after the contract was signed and the service had been delivered, great support. But we ran that process as Darwin, right? So we brought 3 vendors, RingCentral included, into a process, helped the customer write the RFP, and took them through discoveries, Q&As, product demonstrations, and it was pretty clear from the outset. I'll let Bobby talk about where the platform came into it, but you know, like I said earlier on, the knowledge and the experience that these guys brought to the party over and above the competition is what made them stand out to the company that we were successful with. You could see it throughout the process that there was plenty of resource there, plenty of patience, time, knowledge, experience in every aspect of what we asked them to deliver. and it really shone through. Bob, I don't know if you want to touch on the actual solution itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll layer a little bit out on what you've kind of said there as well, if I may.
Yeah.
When we have customers, prospects, coming to inquire about RingCentral, it's normally driven by, I kind of bucket them into one of two things. It's either, exec or wider business strategy. To Matt's point earlier, they want to increase customer spend. They want to go on an acquisition path and have a turnkey solution. There's, what I'd say are exec level strategies that they want to deploy, or it's driven from bottom up, i.e. end user frustration. We have too many tools. We have quality issues. This isn't working how we need it to work today. And I think from a starting point, being able to understand where that kind of needs driven from. So, the challenges and those pieces aside, but what's actually causing the customer need to move provider. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's certainly not as hard as some other technologies out there, but understanding those needs are really critical. When we work with Darwin, we know that that's being brought to us with those needs identified, with the challenges that the customer has on paper ready for us to come in and actually position ourselves in the best light. It's a really tricky minefield for customers to navigate. There are a lot of providers out there, looking on paper doesn't really tell you the differences, but when you can drill down into those use cases, it's super easy. And the case in question here, we knew from the off the customer had a lot of applications that their end users were using. They wanted that integrated into Microsoft Teams, which is something that for us is a real key strength. They wanted to be able to operate some additional digital channels so that they could have customers engaging with them and open up that market share and try and capture a little bit more revenue. So there were a few kind of key points early on that we were able to identify and really hone in to show how can we reduce the number of applications the end users have to consume the tools they need on a day-to-day, and how can we help the wider business strategy to go and bring in additional business for the company, capture more leads, triage people in from the website into the right people so that they could get the help they needed. So yeah, it was a really fun project, but I think the key thing for us is some of the guesswork and education work is taken out when you're working with a partner that that can take that customer on that journey and then engage the right people at the right times.
Definitely. And you've obviously mentioned what that particular customer was looking to achieve with this project, and Matt highlighted some kind of broader patterns that he's seeing across UK businesses and organisations at the moment. But I just wondered, kind of, Bobby, your perspective on why now is really the ideal time for businesses to be implementing kind of a more permanent cloud-based communication solution. What's kind of driving that from your perspective?
It's a really good question. And the reason I'm smiling is because you could have asked me that over the 7 years I've been at RingCentral, and I always would have had an answer, right? I think there are a lot of reasons customers reach out to move providers. I think we're in an industry where the contractual cycle is normally between 3 to 5 years for a cloud provider. So you have a lot of customers coming up to renewal, looking out of the market, identified the challenges from maybe their first or second cloud move, because you can't know absolutely everything before you go into some of these agreements. So they've kind of either made a cloud move and they're looking to improve on that technology. They're looking to get more functionality. They're always looking to save money, right? That's the kind of golden ticket: save cost and improve. But they've identified some challenges with that move to the cloud, and they're trying to make that as slick as possible for their end users and get the best bang for their buck. And then you've got, on the flip side of that, customers that have had the same solution for 5, 10, 15 years, on-premise technology that's outdated and is coming end of life. You either have an option to pay a chunk of money to upgrade to SIP, or you're going to make that full jump to the cloud. So there's loads of different reasons. We see office moves. We see, as I mentioned earlier, acquisition becomes quite a big one. particularly with the ease of the cloud and the scalability of it. But I think what we're seeing from the market predominantly is customers that want to consolidate the number of tools that their users have. They've invested a lot in technology over these last few years. They've pulled in solutions perhaps a bit quicker than they'd have liked to. They haven't been on that kind of full evaluation path, and they're in that kind of wave 2 or wave 3 thinking of, okay, how do we make this better? How do we tidy this up? And as I mentioned already, one of the big kind of talking points for us is how we integrate into Microsoft Teams, because a lot of people have onboarded that technology and want to do it better. I'm biased, but I think we've got a really, really good integration. And the other one is contact center. You know, we're in a world where people consume products and services in a very, very different way, and that's only growing and changing with more social media channels that are coming out. Businesses really need to look at that digital strategy. So those are the two kind of fundamental pieces that we see at the moment. But again, ask me next year. I'm sure there'll be some new things. AI is a big buzzword as well. So yeah, there's lots going on.
You could probably add in sort of data-driven analytics as well to that, in terms of the information that people can get out of a phone system nowadays. It's not just a phone system; it's an application, it's a business tool, right? So, how do people make informed, data-driven decisions about their workforce, where people are working from, how people are operating, how efficient people are? With legacy technology, it's difficult because you're piecing together so many different elements, potentially bring them onto an on-premise solution, right? But with the modern UCaaS and CCaaS platforms, you've got a 60
complete view.
You've got plenty of custom-based, you've got plenty of inbuilt reports, you've got custom-based reports that you can pull data from around your abandonment rates and all that kind of stuff, and really drive efficiencies through the data that you can pull out of the system as well. So I'd probably add that in.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. So it's businesses aren't having to make choices based on gut feeling anymore. There is actual data behind everything their entire workforce are doing.
Yeah, and if just to add, if I may, obviously I haven't touched upon obviously the date of 2025 PSTN switch off. Obviously, there's still millions of businesses, organisations out there in the UK that will have to move at some point in the very near future. And obviously RingCentral are there to help guide those particular customers from on-prem to the cloud. I think is a huge kind of talking point that obviously seeing in on the social on LinkedIn and social media and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely, because there are so many businesses that haven't got round to seeing what technology can do for their organisation, even if they're kind of a 1 or 2 person band, having a kind of proper solution that will help their business kind of be set up for growth. This is kind of a real opportunity where people are having to look at their kind of dusty phone in the corner of their office and really think about what they need for the future.
Yeah, agreed.
And so another area that I wanted to touch on, and we've obviously talked about how RingCentral kind of makes sure it's got the right kind of capabilities and functionalities for the problems that it's looking to solve today. But I just wondered kind of your view on kind of how RingCentral goes about kind of making sure it's remaining at the forefront of unified comms and contact center technologies, kind of what's done internally to kind of keep a lookout on what's happening and make sure that kind of continuous innovation is there.
Who do you want to answer that one?
Bobby or Matt can go first, maybe.
I don't mind answering that. Yeah, sure. So I've been with the RingCentral for quite a bit of time, 7 years, and I remember when I first walked in here, and we had 3 completely separate applications. You know, we had a video tool, we had a messaging tool, we had a soft phone. I'd never seen a soft phone before either, so I was like, that in itself was very innovative at the time. I think the thing that keeps RingCentral where we are as a market leader is driven by innovation of product. The way the product develops, the way our teams keep ahead of the curve, and, you know, to an extent of kind of dictated how the market's gone. A lot of these ideas do come from our customers, right? So I'm giving them credit, but they're picking up on ideas from customers that use the tools every day. But I think innovation, if I was to put it down to one single thing, is absolutely critical. So when we have a really, really advanced piece of technology that's, you know, bug-free, reliable, secure, complies to all sorts of industry standards, and then you're simply layering and layering more investment into that technology, it really starts to show over time. We've got our own video platform now that we didn't have at all 2 years ago, from scratch, a full video platform that, you know, can compete with standalone video providers on the market. We've released RingCX, which is our contact center platform. We still have the full enterprise grade contact center for our partnership with NICE. But, you know, over the last couple of years in the background, built a digital AI driven contact center that we're now releasing out to global customers, you know, thousands of businesses using globally already. So I think for me, it's always been something that our CEO and founder Vlad has been passionate about, is innovation and product first led business. That really helps people like myself to do justice by his customers, and be able to show how we can help. If we don't have the technology, you know, we're not able to address those needs. And it's very rare these days a customer comes up with a genuine problem or challenge that we don't have something in our portfolio to solve for, which is a great position to be in, right?
Definitely. I actually loved what you were saying at the beginning there about how impressed you were by the soft phone when you first joined RingCentral.
It's true.
That's exactly what's so amazing about the PSTN switch off. Like, there are businesses out there that have never seen these types of technologies, and they'll kind of have that kind of real wow factor that you had 7 years ago. Because I think when we do work with technology and we're seeing these cool new capabilities day in, day out, I think we sometimes forget there's so many businesses out there that don't know what is available to them. They don't know that they can go and grab hold of these kind of really simple to use technologies, and it will be just as easy as kind of opening WhatsApp to message their friends. Like, business can work in the same way.
It is, and we see that a lot. You know, I get to relive that in part, you know, at least a few times a month, where we engage with a client and they go, it works on a mobile. Yeah, I know, it's not a forward, it's no, you know, not smoke and mirrors. This is a mobile app. You can dial with your business number from anywhere. So yeah, we get to relive that quite regularly, and it's exciting. And I think the main thing for me is we cater for all those different types of use cases as well. We have customers who are coming along who just want to use us for telephony. We want some extensions, voicemail, you know, an IVR, and we're good to go. We've got a couple of people in the business who hate the idea of having a headset. They want a physical phone, fine. And then, you know, you get the flip side of that, where you've got customers who really need quite a complex solution that meets, you know, financial services regulations or PCI compliance or whatever it may be. Being able to blend across that spectrum and keep it also easy to use across all those use cases is not an easy thing to do. So yeah, hats off to our product guys.
Is there anything anyone wanted to add in there about kind of innovation and keeping it the front end of that?
Yeah, I'll add some more if you don't mind. Obviously, being a partner manager as well, I think it'd be rude not to mention obviously the partners that we have, and we have the benefit of working with every single day. Obviously, to kind of echo Al's comments that he made earlier about kind of working with us, the partners that we have here at RingCentral literally walk us into opportunities of all sizes. Obviously, we've had the benefit of a really strong win, obviously with Darwin and Bobby. But I think the way in which we work with our partners is and our kind of marketing teams internally, there's lots of things that go on behind the scenes that I don't think they're not seen, in all honesty, because it's all happening behind the scenes. But some of the work that we are doing with Darwin is brilliant. Some really cool, quite exciting kind of things going on in the background. And I think one more thing to add on our kind of partners, we're not only just listening to our kind of customers and obviously improving the product and constantly investing into making it better. We're listening to our partners as well. We're listening to the way in which they want to work, and we now have we've now given our partners a choice in the way in which they want to work with us, through a new go-to-market in Ignite, and that's kind of rebranded from around about relaunched from around about 2 years ago. So we're now really giving partners the choice in how they want to engage with us, and giving them flexibility to go and win the deal as quickly as possible, whilst also leaning on the support of RingCentral if needs be. Yeah, there's my kind of things to add.
Definitely, and just making it simple to work with you guys, I'm sure, is at the heart of partners wanting to do more with you going forwards. So finally, a question just for all three of you, to kind of summarise here. What is one way that you'd say is kind of core to successfully switching to a cloud-based communications platform? What's kind of the secret to success there? And you might just want to point at one case study, because I appreciate it might vary from customer to customer. But maybe if we could start with you, Al, and then we'll move on to Matt and Bobby.
Okay. This is definitely not in a negative way, but I think realism is key. So, the switching into a cloud-based UCaaS platform, CCaaS platform in a lot of people's heads, in your mind, and quite easily so, is you switch it on and the licenses are there. This is without any disrespect to anybody, right? But the understanding that you've got to pull the data from your existing platform. You've got to be patient in terms of how far the apple falls from the tree from where you're expecting it to. There's cultural changes from within the business. There's resistance of, we've always had it like this. The old system did it like that. That kind of stuff as well. It's not just all about the license type, the capability, the analytics, everything we've talked about, the resilience in terms of the benefits that you get out of the cloud. I think the key thing is understanding that there's a load of work involved in that move as well. And I think if you understand that, the transition is a lot smoother.
Definitely, and a bit of realism never hurt anyone. It's just about being practical sometimes. Yeah. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with Al. I think for me, it's engaging with us as early as possible, just so we can fully kind of scope out the requirements kind of as early as we possibly can do, even with the expectation that they want a customer would like everything signed off in a year's time. Going back to the point made earlier about kind of obviously realism and the kind of scope of moving from on-prem to cloud. It's not I always say it's not a quote today, order tomorrow type of solution. It is a drawn out process, and obviously we have the resources internally to help support that. It allows us to plan for the smoothest kind of deployment kind of possible, and it also allows, with the support of our partners, to go and cross-sell with complementary technologies as well. which I think is really, really key. So whether or not that's networking or security, SD-WAN, hardware, it allows us to really scope out that the project might only just be UC and CC, or standalone CC or standalone UC, but it could be a bigger slice. There could be a bigger slice of the pie out there for the partner. So yeah, I think engaging with this early, working out some logical next steps and timeframes, and planning together, essentially.
Absolutely. And what were your thoughts, just to summarise there, Bobby?
So the projects that I've seen be most successful are the projects that have been thorough in their investigation of the technologies that are available to them. I think we're in the age of information where you can go and, go online, look at a few reviews, look at a product sheet, get a price for something. This isn't that kind of technology. Most businesses need communication, right? And they need it to be reliable, they need it to work. And the market is saturated with providers that do good jobs and so on and so forth. So do your due diligence. I think where I've seen customers be successful, they've got under the hood of the technology. They've had demonstrations, they've brought additional stakeholders in, and some of our customers are in a position to do that themselves. Some of them aren't. Some of them need consultants and experts to come and help them navigate that field. Now, if you come to us for that, you are going to get a slightly biased view, hands up. So,
to us though.
Again, and I'm not saying this because, we've got Al on here, we've got a partner network, but I think if you're not in a position to really be able to understand the technology, don't make assumptions. It's a dangerous game to make assumptions in. Go and get some expert advice. There's plenty out there, and people are more than willing to come and help you navigate that field and ultimately help you end at the right provider, which hopefully is RingCentral at the end of that as well.
Well said.
Definitely. A sensible way to go about what could be quite complex and challenging.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of Comms Business Live. Thanks, Matt, Bobby, and Al, for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Pleasure.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you very much.
Lovely. And if anyone watching wants to follow up with Matt, Bobby, and the RingCentral team, there are some links in the video description to connect you with the right people. But otherwise, thanks for joining us today, and goodbye.